The streetlights in the neighborhood were sleepy yellow eyes, and that's all a little girl, Nina, saw when she slipped out her front door. She was only 4, but she wasn't scared of the dark, just of the quiet. Mommy's side of the bed was cold, cold, cold. She tiptoed past the sleeping world and onto the sidewalk, her small body swallowed by the big midnight air. A silver car, long and smooth as a fish, hissed to a stop right near the corner. Behind the glass sat Sir Isaac, a man whose heart was usually made of numbers, but right now it was beating fast with a memory of his own lost daughter. He squinted at the tiny figure, her eyes wide as saucers in the glow. He had to know. Who leaves a baby girl out here when the stars are the only company? Stay with me till the very end, because there are life lessons to learn, and you are about to see how a little girl can be so smart. As we continue, sit tight, like this story, and take a sip of coffee. Nina's mommy was Miss Clare, and Miss Clare was everything good and sweet, like a warm piece of cornbread on a Sunday morning. She was a single mother, working hard, always singing church songs low while she braided Nina's hair. They didn't have much money, but their little yellow house on Elm Street was packed with love. Then came Mark. Mark was Miss Clare's fiancé. He was nice enough at first, bought Nina ice cream and told Miss Clare she looked like a queen. But Mark had eyes that were always looking around, checking the doors and windows. He was quick to smile, but his smile never reached his eyes. Mark didn't live with them. He lived just 2 houses down, across the tiny alleyway that led to the next block. Mark was planning to marry Miss Clare, but Miss Clare had a big secret, and this secret was a heavy stone in her heart. Mark wasn't just a regular businessman like he claimed. Miss Clare had found out the truth one Tuesday night. She was supposed to be asleep in bed, but she got up to get a glass of water and heard Mark in their small kitchen whispering low on the phone. "The hit has to be clean," he hissed, his voice sounding like sandpaper. "We gotta go through the firewalls. The big companies are next. Y'all get the codes ready for the cyber attack." Cyber attack. It was a scary word like a monster in a movie. Miss Clare froze. She knew that meant stealing, big-time stealing, breaking into the internet to take other people's money. Miss Clare was a virtuous woman. Her mama had raised her right, don't touch what ain't yours. From that moment on, the heavy stone was there. Miss Clare wanted out. She started leaving little hints, changing the subject when Mark talked about their future, telling him she felt sick when he came over. She knew she had to leave him, but she was scared. Mark always seemed to know what she was thinking. Unaware to her, Mark did know. He'd been suspecting she'd overheard him for weeks. He saw the shift in her eyes, the way her hand trembled when he kissed her. He didn't want to bring her in on the crime, no. He wanted to bring her in to shut her up. Nina, young as she was smart like a little owl. 2 nights ago, she woke up around midnight. She heard her mommy talking softly to Mark downstairs. She saw Miss Clare slip out the door, thinking Nina was asleep. Nina loved her mom's shoes, so she followed, quiet as a shadow. She saw Miss Clare walk across the alley and into Mark's house. Nina, confused, waited for 5 minutes, then crept back home alone. She never told her mommy, just figured grown-ups do weird things at night. The night before this one, it happened again. Nina pretended to be asleep, peeking through slitted eyes. Mark's truck pulled up. Miss Clare tiptoed out, and Nina followed her little shadow all the way to Mark's dark house, where she watched the door click shut. Again, Nina waited, but this time she got too sleepy and went back home. Miss Clare came back around 4 a.m., slipping into bed, smelling faintly of the outdoors. But tonight was different. Tonight, Nina woke up to a terrible silence. Her mommy's side of the bed was cold, cold, cold. Nina went to the kitchen, empty. She went to the bathroom, empty. Her heart started beating a fast, fluttery rhythm like a hummingbird trapped in her chest. She searched the whole little yellow house, Only her teddy bear, Mr. Fuzzy, was there. Not again, Nina thought. Not to Mark's house. She pulled on her little pink jacket and let herself out. She crossed the quiet street, past the whispering pecan trees, and walked down 2 houses, across the alley. Mark's house was completely dark. She knocked with her small fist. Nothing. She knocked harder. The door felt solid and cold, like a tombstone. Her mummy wasn't here this time. She was gone. Tears, hot and fat, started rolling down her cheeks. She turned and walked, not knowing where she was going, just walking away from the silent, empty houses. That's when the silver car, the smooth, long fish of a car, rolled up to the curb. Inside the car sat Sir Isaac, a billionaire who usually spent his midnight hours reviewing contracts for his tech empire, Blackstar Dynamics. Tonight, he had just finished an emergency meeting across town. He saw the small figure, and his breath caught in his throat. No, he thought, can't be. The girl, standing alone, looked exactly like the one photo he kept in his wallet, his daughter who he'd lost years ago. The resemblance was so strong it felt like a ghost had come to the street. He hesitated, his body shaking, before he finally summoned the courage to step out of the car. He moved slowly towards her. "Hey there, little one," he said, his voice surprisingly gentle. "What are you doing out here?" Nina looked up at the very tall man, his face serious, but his eyes kind. She wiped her nose with the back of her pink jacket sleeve. "Sir," she whispered, her voice cracked with the terrible quiet she'd found. "Sir, my mom, Miss Claire, didn't come home last night."
Sir Isaac felt a sharp, hard pinch in his heart, right where the memory of his daughter lived. The way Nina looked at him, the way her little lip trembled, it wasn't a ghost, it was a child in real, deep trouble. He bent down, careful not to scare her, so his big, tailored suit was right down on her level. "I'm Sir Isaac," he said. "What's your name, sweetheart?" "Nina," she sniffled. "And Mommy's gone. She's really gone this time." He listened as she told him everything in simple 4-year-old language, about the midnight trips, about following Miss Claire to the Mr. Man's house, and about how tonight the Mr. Man's house was empty too. The simple story, delivered with such heartbreaking honesty, instantly told Sir Isaac this was no run-of-the-mill missing person case. This was cold, hard drama. "You said the Mr. Man lives just 2 houses away?" Sir Isaac asked. Nina nodded, pointing with a damp, tiny finger toward the dark alleyway. Sir Isaac, the man who owned half the city's tech infrastructure, was used to problems that required a spreadsheet. This problem required a rescue. He stood up and pulled out his phone, not the one for business, but the encrypted one for his private security detail. "Y'all listen up," he ordered into the phone, his voice now firm, shifting from gentle father to CEO. "I need a 4-man unit, silent and quick, at the corner of Elm and Oak right now. I have a situation, potential kidnapping, highly suspicious environment. And," he paused, looking at Nina's worried face, "run a scam on the 2 houses directly across the alley from the yellow house at 1205 Elm. I need a danger signal report. Check for any unusual electronic activity or recent GPS pings tied to that address in the last 12 hours. He kept Nina close, wrapping his big hand around her small one until the black, unmarked vans arrived 5 minutes later. The security team leader, a tough, quiet woman named Sergeant Ray, nodded sharply at Sir Isaac. "The scan is already done, sir," Sergeant Ray reported. "We got a hit. A low-level danger signal registered 18 hours ago, spiking when the owner's phone suddenly went offline. The owner is a man named Mark Jones, and we detected a very weak, encrypted signal pinging out of that house, Mark Jones's, right after the spike." The word encrypted made Sir Isaac's mind jump. Criminal activity, kidnapping. Nina's story about the Mr. Man planning an attack suddenly felt terrifyingly real. They went to Mark's house, the one Nina pointed out. The team forced the lock with a quick, nearly silent hiss. Sir Isaac held Nina tight on the porch, covering her eyes. Inside, the house was immaculate, but cold, empty. No signs of a struggle. Mark was smart. "Nothing, sir," Sergeant Ray whispered into her headset. "Clean sweep." He moved her fast. "Wait," Sir Isaac said, looking around. "He wouldn't go to all this trouble to leave nothing. He's a tech criminal, according to the little one's story. Check the power outlets, the junction box, anything that could transmit data." The team checked the house again. Suddenly, a young tech agent shouted from the garage, "Sir Isaac, we got it! He left a burner phone attached to a smart plug timer set to wipe at 6 a.m. We intercepted the last data stream. It's an encrypted location ping, a remote address. Looks like a beach hotel way out near the coast." Then the tech agent pulled up a separate file, his face going pale. "And sir, the data stream included a list of target companies for a major cyber heist. Your company, Black Star Dynamics, is listed right at the top, scheduled for the hit tomorrow night." Sir Isaac felt a chill run down his spine that had nothing to do with the night air. Miss Claire had been kidnapped because she knew. She wasn't just a victim, she was a witness who, if she had spoken up, would have saved his entire empire. And the only reason they had found this clue was because a 4-year-old girl was brave enough to go looking for her mommy. "Sergeant Ray, we move now," Sir Isaac commanded, grabbing Nina and sweeping her up into his arms. "I want a full perimeter lockdown on that coastal hotel before dawn. We go in hard and fast. This isn't just about rescue anymore. This is about justice, and it's personal." They left the dark, empty house and piled into the armored cars. Sir Isaac sat in the back with Nina nestled against him, the fastest security vehicles in the state tearing through the empty highways toward the coast. The suspense was a coiled rope in the car, silent, tight, and ready to snap. Nina, exhausted but trusting, had fallen asleep, her little hand gripping the collar of the billionaire's expensive suit. The sun was just starting to paint the sky orange when they arrived at the remote coastal hotel. It was a cheap, run-down place, the perfect spot for a villain to hide. Mark's truck was parked out back, near a small, isolated wing of the building. Sir Isaac placed Nina in the care of Sergeant Ray, ensuring she was safe in the car but could watch from the window. "Stay right here, baby girl. Mommy is coming home." The security team, moving like shadows, secured the whole area. Sir Isaac, despite his suit and his title, insisted on being right behind the team as they burst through the door of Mark's room. "Police, drop the weapon," the team shouted. Mark, the quiet fiancé, was sitting at a table with 2 other rough-looking men. They were hunched over laptops, surrounded by wires and fast food wrappers. Mark looked up, his face a mask of shock, then pure rage. He lunged, but the security team was too fast. The room erupted in noise, but it was over in seconds. Mark and his gangs were cuffed and on the floor. But the most beautiful sound came next. From a closet in the corner, covered by a heavy blanket, they heard a muffled cry. Sergeant Ray tore the blanket away, and there was Miss Claire, tied up but alive, her eyes wide with fear and then relief. "Nina!" she screamed, her voice hoarse, and Sergeant Ray rushed the girl in. The reunion was pure, raw emotion. Miss Claire hugged her daughter so tight they looked like one person. She rocked back and forth, sobbing and kissing Nina's face. Sir Isaac stood back, watching the scene, his own eyes wet. He looked at Mark, now being led away, realizing the villain had been stopped just hours before he could have stolen everything Sir Isaac had built. When Miss Claire finally looked up, she saw the billionaire standing there, looking like an angel in the morning light. She whispered a thembling, "Thank you." Sir Isaac shook his head.
Don't thank me, Miss Claire. Thank your daughter. She saved us all. In the days that followed, the police cleaned up the mess, and Mark and his gang went straight to jail. Miss Claire and Nina were safe, but they had lost their little yellow house, and they had nowhere to go. Sir Isaac, who never forgot the look in Nina's eyes, and who realized his heart still had so much love to give, made a decision that surprised everyone. He brought Miss Claire and Nina to his big, quiet mansion. He sat with Miss Claire, offering her a future where she and Nina would never have to be scared or struggle again. And because he saw his own daughter in Nina's eyes, and because Nina's courage had saved his life's work, Sir Isaac officially adopted little Nina. He didn't take her away from Miss Claire. He brought them both into his family. Miss Claire became the official steward of his charitable foundation, finally able to use her good heart to help others. Nina got a dad who loved her and a mother who was always, finally, safe and home. The little girl who walked out into the midnight street had not just found her mother, but she had found a father, a safe home, and a brand new life. Her story was proof that the smallest among us can have the biggest heart and the power to change the world. Thanks for watching. Endeavor to like, comment, subscribe, and share to a sweet soul that may need this. May God bless you as you keep helping people against all odds.